Hey there, tomato heads. Welcome to Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce. I'm Lauren, and I come every Thursday to basically just talk tomatoes with you all. We're an interactive live broadcast. I started it a few months ago. I'm obsessed with tomatoes, and if you're watching this, you likely are also. Um, and so, what we do each week, like I taste some varieties, I show some varieties, mainly micro dwarfs. Today, I've got a whole, you can see I've got a basket here of things I want to show you. And basically, I dive deeper into different varieties more than just the name. We like to find out who the breeder is, feedback from those of you who have grown it or if I've grown it. And we just kind of talk together. It's definitely interactive. I prefer it that way. I don't like to talk to you, I like to talk with you. So please feel free to add comments whenever you feel free. If it's your first time, I do give away seeds. I'm very behind, but as long as you don't mind waiting, I give away seeds to five live viewers at the end of the show. All you have to do to win is type in hashtag tomato in the comments of the show. So, really happy to have you guys. I love these. I look forward to them every week. I've recently started doing Tuesdays, garden tour on Tuesdays. The rate my garden's going, and I don't want to say dying because of those of you who are there Tuesday know it's not dying, but my plants are pretty crispy. However, oh shoot, I forgot to pull up pictures. I have pictures of what my kitchen counter looks like now. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's a bit ridiculous. I'll just tell you that. It's a bit ridiculous. So I really should not complain at all. Let me see if I can find it. Can I pull this up? Share screen, maybe? Okay. So here's what my kitchen counter looks like now. This is after I took the tomatoes I wanted to show and put it in the basket. And then this is what I harvested yesterday. So, and this wasn't even the whole garden. I got tired. I didn't do the in-ground bed. So clearly I am not lacking for tomatoes at all. And we're growing 150 plants this year, not including probably about 100 different micro dwarfs also. And so we've been giving some away, getting ready to make my first batch of tomato crack. If you don't know what tomato crack is, in the group, in our group files, in the recipe section, I have a recipe for, somebody told me once it was as good as heroin or crack. So I named it tomato crack. It's basically taking any overflow that you have, any extras, and I use when I save seeds and I squeeze the seeds and goo out into my mason jars or whatever, all the leftover meat I put in a bag and I put that in the tomato crack. It's basically roasted in the oven low and slow with olive oil and herbs and garlic and whatever you want. And then it's this ugly brownish maroon mush that is the most delicious stuff ever. So if you're looking for a way to um, use up your leftover tomatoes, we use it all year round on like pizza, base for sauces. Last year I pureed some for the first time and I made kind of a tomato paste out of it. But it's a fabulous way. It's super easy. You just need to kind of give up your oven all day. It roasts at like 275, 300 degrees all day long. So let's get to some comments here because I love talking to you guys. I've got today's show is going to be a bit different than, I mean, same format, but I have stuff I want to show you that I've grown and some things that I wasn't expecting. And so I'm not really, I don't know if there's any that normally each week I research new varieties and I share it with you all, and you take a paper and pen and you write down what you want. You still may want a paper and pen because I'm going to show you some things that are pretty spectacular. Boy, do we have some big tomatoes, let me tell you. But so far, nothing 2 pounds or over, which is crazy. This is like a quest that Mr. Tomato Head Rob has been on for the last couple of years. We have massive tomatoes. I mean, I will show you. Massive. Let me show you one right now. We have and Jarsons. The Jarsons, for the most part, are big. This is Jarson 2. Not quite ripe yet. If you're looking and seeing a lot of green, that's because I pick at first blush, and we allow to ripen on the counter, as you saw in the pictures. Um, I mean, they're just so big, and what happens is we come, like, achingly close, like 1 pound, 15 ounces, something like that. Look at this. Look at this. There's oh, the biggest one down here. I wasn't gonna show these right now, but I will. Look at this one. This is Jarson 22. Crazy, 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 crazy. Um, so anyway, we're swimming in tomatoes, and I was in my head this morning singing the Christmas song, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because when you have tomatoes, it is the most wonderful time of the year. It's what we dream about all year long. However, I'm not it's not lost on me that so many of us around the world are really struggling with our gardens this year. It has been the craziest spring and summer weather-wise, um, for so many of us. I mean, I really shouldn't complain, but we've had extreme heat and very little rain. Now, Jen has had no rain. We get, like, once a week, we'll get a downpour for, like, 10 minutes, so that's something. And I tend to not water, which is why my plants are getting crispy, but I know so many of us, I know Malachite Jen had a hailstorm last night. Kina's I'm back. I was gonna say Kina's getting tons of rain. I know people in Germany are getting tons of rain, oop, not that yet. So, I know that so many of us don't have the abundance like me on my counter, so I sound like a brat, I realize that. Um, but and I'm grateful for that. Do you freeze the crack? Yes, I do, Missy, I do freeze the crack. And this year I froze, my my variety, Banana Noir. I don't know if I have any here. Banana Noir is about this big. I froze a whole bunch of these just whole, and when you defrost them, the skin peels right off. They're great to use in salsa and stuff. But yeah, you can absolutely freeze the crack. It's a great idea. You can freeze it in ice cube trays and like take it out. It's like tomato concentrate on steroids. It's delicious. Those of you who have made it, you know what I'm talking about. Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. Glad you're here. Our swamp bitch is here. Hello. Glad you're here, Harlia. Rowena, hope we get a good turnout because these are so awesome sauce. I'm glad you guys think so. I do too. I do too. It's a nice break from the troubles of life once a week, isn't it? Um, I hope you guys watched Tomato Talk Live last week with Jen and I. Jen, Joy, and I, we do a show. Sure you know this, but once a month, the first Friday normally of the month, we do Tomato Talk Live, which is now a podcast as well. And we had Craig Luhulier back on the show. He's the author of Epic Tomatoes and co-founder of Dwarf Tomato Project. And he talked to us about um, genetics, tomato genetics, which you may think you need to be a breeder to or be interested in breeding to have gotten something out of that. Not true at all. Not true at all. It's so interesting. He's just so down to earth. He speaks with us rather than to us. He's not a snob at all. When he says to email him with questions, he really means it. So I hope you guys watched and enjoyed that episode. We're already talking about having him back at the end of the season. We were talking afterwards after the show on Friday and just saying it would be good to do a show on like what works this season, what didn't work. So sometime in the fall, we'll get him back. Who else we have here? Sathi is here. Hello, fellow tomato head friends. Hello. Roxanne, hi. Glad you're here. Hey, John. Thanks for being here. Hi, Susan. And we've got Mike here from South Louisiana. Hey there. Thank you, Sathya. Like and subscribe. You're good for my channel, that's for sure. Inching towards 1,000. I'm not sure where I'm at, but maybe like 150 more or something like that. Maybe a little bit more. That would be cool. That would be cool. I can start to get monetized and bring in the big bucks and pay off all those seed donations I give for prizes. Um, but really, I don't do this for money, but that would be nice. It would be nice. Big harvest, I know. And every day, like in the beginning, it's super exciting. And don't get me wrong, it's still really exciting. In the beginning, it's like, oh, look at this. And now Rob and I go out with like, we have, what do they call it? A hob, a hob, hod. There's a name for like a harvest basket. I think it's like a hob. Um, we go out with that and it's like, ha ha ha, you can't, it's way too small. So we've got these Rubbermaid tubs that we use also. Um, and yeah, so we have we've been doing a lot of reviews at night. We don't videotape our reviews like Jen and Ben. Rob doesn't want to be on camera. It's not for everybody, for sure. Um, so we do it together. It's kind of our thing, it's kind of a sacred thing. But I do a written review on in the group. If you're not in the group, it is Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. Sure you know this, but we would love to have you if you're not a member. We just celebrated last week at this time. We did a special episode on it with our 1 year anniversary. So thank you all for being there. Congrats to all the winners. We'll get those prizes out. Um, so yes, we're only a year old and we've got 4,500 members and new members every day, which thrills us. We cater to the beginning gardener, the seasoned gardener. It's a really kind, generous place, much more than a swap group. We're really, we're there for information. We've got resource sheets, and it's just if you like tomatoes, you're gonna love it. I don't even know what else to say. You have to be there to kind of know what I'm talking about. Tara Dove's here. Hi, Tara Dove. Thanks for being here. Jen's here. Hey, Jen. Glad you're here. Happy Thursday. Um, oh, Jen, hit that like button, everyone. Thanks, Jen. Looks like a produce stand. I know. I know. I had lunch with a friend yesterday and I loaded him up with tomatoes. Um, I love giving them away. Don't you guys love giving them away? Because they've never had tomatoes like this in their entire life. It's not like, well, I don't want to sound snobby, but generally they're not used to the stuff that we grow because normally the stuff that we tend to grow isn't normally found at produce stands. They're getting better though. I'm seeing things like Cherokee Purple and like really good classic heirlooms. Somebody in the group said that they found a Berkeley pink tie-dye at their produce stand. I was impressed. That's a great tomato. These garden adventures, I've only gotten a handful of cherries. I'm sorry. I hope there's enough time left in your season. Um, I say this ad nauseum, but we can do everything possible to nurture and grow our little plant babies, but we really are at the mercy of Mother Nature, and there's nothing we can do about it. But you guys are all badass for your attitude, I tell you, because um, I know I can only imagine how upsetting it is. I would be devastated. So hopefully there's enough time in your season. It's another reason I talk a lot about taking suckers off of original plants and rooting them. I do that to get nice fresh plants for the fall because if you take a sucker, it'll root right into a new plant. Thankfully, I did that for Nano's meatball dwarf, which I want to talk to you guys about. Amazing. I also did it for Suffer Well. I'm not sure if there's enough time for Suffer Well, but um, so I like taking suckers just in case something happens. And it's super easy. You just take the sucker off, stick it in soil. I bring it inside for a few days first. Keeping it outside in the heat will give it sun scald, but it's a great way to just have like an extra insurance policy. And maybe where you are, there's still time to do that. My first frost is mid-October average. So there's really not enough time for me now to take a sucker now and root it unless it's a really big sucker. But for some of you with long growing seasons, you absolutely can. I know some of you in down south, like Florida, are starting from seed your fall tomato, so that's pretty cool too. Sathya, I literally have 1 tomato in my yard. I'm sorry, I feel like such a brat. I do. Um, I'll never get to make it. My dogs chase me down for anything squeezed. Oh, you're talking about the tomato crack. Well, I give you my jars of it. Um, and yes, I do can it, but I freezing it is definitely an option. Hi, Sashka. Thanks for being here. Thank you all for being here. There's a lot of other places you could be on a Thursday, and I appreciate the fact that you're here with me. And Tuesdays for the garden tours. I apologize. I know the quality of the live stream and the garden tours is really lousy. I wish there was something I could do about it. Here, when I do Lawrence Tomato Awesome Sauce on Thursdays, I've got StreamYard I can use. That's the platform. It's hardwired directly into my internet. But out in the yard, I have to use YouTube Live, and I have to use Wi-Fi, and we really are out in the boonies, so I tried to watch a couple minutes back the other day, and I just saw, like, how my what I'm saying doesn't match up with my mouth moving. I'm not sure if that's how it is live also, but so many of you still hang in there with me and watch, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I know it can be painful to watch stuff of really bad quality, but I have fun. We had fun. We always have fun together. Heck yes. I'm assuming that's my kitchen counter you're talking about. Kelly, I almost forgot it's Awesome Sauce Day. Hi, everyone. Hello. Glad you're here. Susan, big boys, especially compared to my cherries I've been picking. I can't believe how big some of these are. I can't believe how big some of these are, and we still can't get a 2-pound tomato. There's one variety out there that's producing massive tomatoes. One that my son Jake picked. He picked a couple, I'll just say silly named varieties in case our young friend Ansel's watching. It's called large membranous. Seeds came from Carolina's Paradise. They're massive, but in feeling them, they don't feel that dense. They're really big, but I don't know if they're dense enough to hit the 2-pound mark. And we picked our Domingos, and they're smaller than our Jarsons, so it's alright. Big tomatoes, you can't go wrong. We've been eating a lot of tomato sandwiches. Hi, Cynthia, glad you're here. How can that Jarson 22 not be 2 pounds? It's crazy. I know, I think I weighed that. I mean, this Jarson 2 is super heavy, but you can kinda tell by looking at it that's not a 2-pounder, but yeah, this one you're I'm not even positive I weighed this one. This is Jarson 22. These seeds came from Cariarte, my friend Regine there. Obviously not ripe yet, but yeah, it is massive. I mean, they're just amazing. Even the Jarsons that don't have Jarson uses a lot of copia in his crosses. Jarson's a breeder from Poland, for those of you that don't know. I'm obsessed with him, and I'm growing, like, 25 of his varieties this year. Um, and he uses a lot of great tomatoes in his crosses, which is why I love him. He uses copia quite a bit, which is basically just this big, massive tomato. So I understand the copia crosses being big, but some of them don't have copia. There's one, the Jarson 4, I think, which is orange strawberry and Cherokee purple. And orange strawberry can be a big orange ox heart, but not that big. I don't know. It's crazy. Um, where are we? Hey, Ramonte, glad you're here. Looking so beautiful today. Thank you. Hello to all. I'm just from my garden, so rainy here today. Hey, Ramonte, glad you're here. I love when you're here. I've worn this shirt before, but just to show you, this says grown in the Garden State. New Jersey is known for, well, New Jersey's the Garden State. We're also known for Jersey tomatoes. We've got a great climate for growing tomatoes. This year, I would say not so much, but you've seen my harvest, but it's been really hot. I think we were lucky in that, we didn't plant out early, in fact, we planted out late, and I was using these tall seedling grow bags to keep my seedlings going until we could get them out in the yard. It was just every weekend had something we had to go to, weddings, showers, things like that. Um, so then we planted it, and then we plant in a mushroom compost, filter topsoil mix, which I swear is crack for tomatoes. Things grow really fast and the fruits set really quickly. I think the big boys just set before the really hot stuff came in, so we're really fortunate for that. Um, Hi, Teresa, glad you're here. Teresa, I am so happy that your Cherokee purple bicolor looks so good. Um, I got those seeds from a vendor like 2 years ago who said it was like a mutation, and they didn't know where it came from exactly. It came from, I guess, a seed. I believe the listing said it was from, like, a major seed retailer, and it was a mutation. I don't know how he got his hands on the seeds. Um, he didn't say it's not stable, but I kind of got that feeling, so we grew it and had gorgeous bicolor tomatoes that I swear tasted better than Cherokee purple. And I gave a lot of seeds of those out to many of you. And Malachi Jen showed me today hers seems to have antho on the top, which is kind of crazy. Kina thinks hers might be cherries, but Teresa, yours look just like mine. So I'm really glad it worked out for you. I I like when things aren't stable. I don't like when things aren't true to type, though, and I've got a few of those. I had 2 last year, and I think I've got 2 this year. Unfortunately, it looks like this pains me to say, turtle purple just is not purple. It's actually a delicious tomato. It's a delicious red saladette, but in looking at photos of it, it's not turtle purple, and I was really looking forward to that one. And then I believe Lloyd E. Fry, um, I showed it, I think, at my garden tour on Tuesday. They're supposed to be red beefsteaks, and most of them look like Roma tomatoes. There's a couple beefsteaks thrown in there, so I don't know if I got that one from a vendor. Turtle purple came from a trade, but that one came from Happy Cat Farms, um, and I think somebody else here said that they were growing it from them too. It happens to everybody, even vendors, it just happens. And, I could get upset about it. We can get upset about it, but there's really nothing we can do about it. I look at it as, hey, I've got this great new variety and it goes great in tomato crack and tomato salad. So, um, just hopefully there's not too many of those. But it's a total bummer when you're really, really looking forward to something. I was speaking to a member last night who is growing malachite box because I talk it up so much up until this year. It's been our favorite tomato every year. It's a green one ripe, just delicious. And I talk it up a lot. So she wanted to grow it this year because of that. And looks like it's not malachite box. She didn't get it from me. So she's really bummed out. So when it's like your number one most wanted, I can totally see that's a complete bummer. But it seems to happen to me every year with a couple of them. Hey, Kim's here. Hey, Kim, I got your seeds today. Thank you. I was going to PM you, and then I got involved with getting ready for the show. Thank you so, so much. You sent some really great goodies and stuff to donate to the group also, which you always do, and you're just so thoughtful. Thank you. So many of you you're all so thoughtful. It's amazing. That's why I love this group and this community. Hi, Hope. Glad you're here. Welcome. Our Joyful Day says, "Hi, Lauren. I always watch your videos. Makes me love gardening chores." Thank you, Our Joyful Days. I love your name, and I'm so happy that you watch. Sashka, what happened with Donka tomato? I remember that you had a plan to grow it. Unfortunately, mine is dead before getting fruit from it. Yeah, it got cut. Unfortunately, I'm regretting it. But it got cut. It's known as Vanka or Danka, and I had featured it on one of my 2024 grow list videos. I'm not sure why it got cut. I think I was growing a lot of reds I share all the time. It's no secret that I've yet to find, other than one, I've yet to find a red that really knocks my socks off. But I keep trying every year. And so we've got a bunch on the list. Lloyd E. Fry was supposed to be one of them. But it got dropped. And now it's turning out, looking at my list, I don't have as many reds as I thought. So I wish I did. Um, I'm sorry, yours. Is anybody growing it or has grown it that can give feedback, because it looked really great. And it's supposed to be delicious. Hi, Sherva. Glad you're here. Welcome. Erin's here. Hi there. Sosker says that episode with Craig was fantastic. I'm so glad you think so. Cordaro, tasting that Seven Rivers tricolor. That's Antho instead, cutting now. Same. I was going to talk about that today. Where is it? I'll skip ahead since we're talking about it. So this was on my grow list. Is on my grow list. I'm growing it. Let me show you the slide of Seven Rivers tricolor. There it is. It's a variety by Vitaly Alafirov of Kazakhstan. I believe I got seeds from Lydia at Carolina's Paradise, I believe. It could have been Tomato Eden. But so this is what I was expecting. I don't see any antho, although in the picture on the left, maybe there is a little bit of antho. I guess I was just so fixated on how great the middle looked in both pictures. So I started realizing the other day, I'm looking at the plant and I'm getting antho. Interesting. This is another one that is just about ripe, doesn't have much antho, and the amount of sun the plant gets will determine that. But Cordara, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Did we talk about that before? Because I guess it has, maybe those pictures just don't show the antho. Some of mine have quite a bit on there, others don't. I kind of prefer this. I'm not the biggest fan of antho, as many of you probably know. Terry says you can do mini monetization. Think you only need 500 subscribers. Yeah, Jen told me that the other day. I haven't had a chance to look into it. But thank you. I will have to look into it. Be great to use for a greenhouse. Yes, I would love a greenhouse. Did your son love his special tomatoes? My son moved out with his girlfriend. How convenient, because I send him pictures of the special tomatoes. The San Penis is, it's vile and funny at the same time. And of course, it's the most productive tomato I've ever grown in my life. Have I sent him anything else yet? He picked that San Penis, monkey ass, large membranous, and I did send him a picture of large membranous and asshole, which is not asshole, it's ASSOL. Let me see if I can, do I keep the picture up? This is assole, which we have not tasted yet. But the fruits are really, really big. No, I guess I don't have the slide on it. Anyway, this is it. I got seeds for this. Oh, we guess we better taste this tonight. I did something when I put it in there. Got seeds for this from Tomato Galaxy. No, yes, Tomato Galaxy. And it's ASSOL. Normally, I'm not a huge sucker for the names like some people are, but that one, I just thought I have to get a couple packs of this and give it out to my friends because it's just too funny. I think Jen, I don't know if you're there or if you're gardening and just listening, but I think you tasted this already. Did you not? It looks great. It looks like a great tomato sandwich tomato. I'd better put this to the side, but yes, that is asshole. Hope it's good. Jen says that monkey ass, she wasn't a big fan, so I guess we'll see. Before I dive into more tomatoes, I wanted to show you something kind of cool. So I don't know if you noticed the thumbnail I used for Lauren's tomato awesome sauce. Let me put it up real quick. It's got a picture of me from last year. There we go. It's a picture of me from last year holding this beautiful tomato that's in the shape of a heart. It happened to be one of my favorites of the year. In fact, one of my all-time favorite tomatoes. 9 out of 10 is pretty rare for me and Rob. This is Uptown Funk. Gorgeous tomato, and it just happened it's not a heart tomato or anything, it just happened to be in a heart. And so I love that picture because it's, like, showing my garden and me looking happy in the garden and holding up a tomato, signifying my love for tomatoes. Well, I've been talking about how our number 1 tomato I haven't actually put up the official review yet, actually, but I tasted it live. When did I taste it live? Was it with Jen? I think it may have been during one of these Tomato Awesome Sauce shows. A variety by Bill Yoder called Suffer Well. Um, and it was to die for. Here it is. Absolutely to die for. And but it's also like sometimes when it's your earliest tomato of the season, it tastes like the best thing ever. And oddly enough, Uptown Funk was my first taste. It was my first tomato I tasted with Jen on Tomato Talk Live last year. Um, so I wasn't sure if like I was giving Suffer Well too much, OMGs, but no, I did not. Rob and I love, love, love Suffer Well. And wouldn't you know it, look at this tomato. Again, a favorite tomato in the shape of a heart. Isn't that cool? It's like the tomato gods are watching over me. This is one great tomato. So I will be changing my thumbnail to this newer one because I love Uptown Funk and those colors are great. But that Suffer Well. Um, so I just thought that was kind of cool. Um, our next Tomato Talk Live with Jen and I, because we did it so late this month, is going to be not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, August 2nd. And so it's just going to be Jen and I talking tomatoes, tasting tomatoes, showing tomatoes, right, Jen? We decided it was time to do an episode just for ourselves because we just love talking together. We love our guests. We're very grateful for all of our guests. But we just thought it was time to do just Jen and I. So tune in. That will be a week from Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me get to some more comments here. The worst part is waiting for them to ripen. I know. It is. And then I feel like when it rains, it pours as far as ripening for me. Oh, Teresa, you've got 5 suckers going now. Yay. That makes me so, so happy. So, so happy. Eva, I have pink Berkeley tie-dye from a nursery. I didn't know they were hard to find. Wow. I wouldn't say they're hard to find. It's not a variety that's super rare. It's just you're not we haven't been used to those kinds of things at our farm stands, have we? I mean, they'll do the big boys and all of that stuff, and sometimes you'll find a Cherokee purple, or you'll get the bin that just says heirloom tomatoes, and there's things of all kinds of different shapes and sizes, but you don't really know what it is. Pink Berkeley tie-dye is one of the best tomatoes I've ever had in my life. I'm talking about all these fantastic tomatoes. I have to let you know that I'm very picky. This year, so far, we have tasted some spectacular tomatoes. And those are the ones I rushed to put up reviews of in the group. So it seems like everything, like I'm giving everything a 9 now. And I think Suffer Well is actually going to be a perfect 10. Um, we're also tasting a lot of okay tomatoes. I'm not rushing to put those reviews up, and I will eventually, but when I get really excited about these things, so the ones that are just blowing my mind are the ones going up first. But I am picky. Getting a 9 is really, really hard. An excellent tomatoes an 8. 7's really good. 6 is passable. We haven't had anything that's bad yet. I'm I don't know what I'm sure it'll come, maybe, depending on how much antho that Seven Rivers tricolor has. Um, And Cordaro, let us know your taste if you've already tasted it. Um, but we haven't had anything bad yet. We've had, you know, pretty good, really good, excellent, and exceptional. We really have. So, and I think maybe it's because of, the group, and we all do so much research now, and we share with each other what we really love. We do our trades. We have vendors in our back pocket, things like Tomato Eden and Graf Semina, Vienna seeds, Cariarte seeds, Lux tomatoes, like all these vendors from all over the world. Um, Bill Yoder's tomatoes. Oh my God. Speaking of which, Bill is going to stop taking orders on Monday, this coming Monday. So if you want to order Bill Yoder's tomatoes, make sure you email him ASAP. He's putting a hard stop on it. He's going to have back surgery, and he just wants a break. He's been, um, if you haven't heard back from him with an email address and you're waiting for it, just private message me and I will give it to you. He didn't. I told him he was going to be inundated. I don't think he realized just how much. His tomatoes are unbelievable, and every picture he puts out on his Facebook page is just like, oh my God, I need that one too. So vendors like him, I mean, gosh, I'm growing every single one of his new ones next year. So I think 35 varieties that is. That takes up 2 beds of mine. Crazy. Linda's here. Hey, Linda. Glad you're here. Um, yes, Mama EC nursery I went to has all wild boar products. I didn't know better. I got plain Berkeley tie-dye getting closer to ripe. I'm assuming you're out in California, yes, Terry? Wild Boar Farms is Brad Gates's company, and if you've got a vendor or, a farm stand that carries those, that's a good thing. Those are good as well. Perhaps you can look into Wi-Fi extenders might help. I have, and we have them. We live out in the boonies. I've got like an app too. Yeah. Thank you for the tip though. Um, Boy, I'm really behind in comments. I harvested my first slicing tomato today, Purple Tiger. I hope it's delicious. I hope so too. I really do. Ansel passed out after peach picking. No PG rating necessary. Oh, you went peach picking. Well, if he watches this later, then give him our love. He's our little 5-year-old tomato head mascot who's tomato head through and through. Big ones looking good on my tomatoes, yes. Haley's here. Hello, hello. Let me try to get caught up here. Hi, Kathy. Glad you're here. Yeah, Cordaro, Seven Rivers tricolor. Inside looks ripe, but the outside has a lot of antho. Okay, so I guess it's just the photos that we're seeing that didn't really show the antho. Let me know what you think of it. Rowena says, my Chinook should have regular leaves, but it has potato leaves. Interesting. I'm finding that a lot. In fact, one of the varieties I'm going to show you today, Lavorgienne, is supposed to be potato leaf. I have regular leaf also. I think I've shared that before. So I'm going to show you the difference in the fruit between both because I decided to grow both. And Harley says, I hate when that happens. Heidi, potato leaves are making me crazy. Why is that? Just curious. I'm finding that my potato leaves are actually more susceptible to disease, which from what some people say, it should be the opposite. Missy says, my Chinook has potato leaf too, producing huge tomatoes. Interesting. Maybe it's not completely stable yet. Francis, my YouTube alerts failed me. I'm late to the party. That's okay. You know me. We've hardly gotten even started. What is your go-to brand of mushroom compost? The mushroom compost I get from a local garden center, landscape center, so there is no brand. But I think I may have shared this in another episode, but let me show you the mycorrhizal fungi that I've grown to love. Ordered it by accident. I feel like I just share this very recently, so if you're hearing it for the second time, bear with me. Um, it's called Bigfoot. And I've used a couple different brands. I've used Trifecta, I've used Mycos, and they're just fine and great. Um, Let me show the screen here. I found one that was on sale because I've been going through a lot. What I do with mycorrhizal fungi is um, when I'm up potting or planting in the ground, I will sprinkle, usually granulated. I'll sprinkle it on the roots. I've been doing this for 2 years, and I swear it makes a huge difference. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. So there was one on sale that I bought. It was this one. It's called Bigfoot mycorrhizae. Um, and this one is water soluble, which means it's a powder and you can, I have 5-gallon paint buckets outside and I mix it with water. I also didn't realize it was water soluble when I ordered it, so I completely screwed up. But sometimes these accidents are you know, beautiful disasters because I love this stuff. Not only is it just mycorrhizal fungi, but it also has kelp, biochar, and humic acid. Mary, if you're here, um, Mary Rivas, we've been talking about this lately. These are all what's the word I'm looking for? Biostimulants that are really, really good for your plants. So I've been getting this powder and it's fantastic. And compared to a lot of different ones, it's, you know, less expensive. So a couple tablespoons in 5 gallons and you're good to go. So this is my preferred brand lately. They do have a granulated one also. Let me see if I can find it here. I actually got the granulated one was available in Amazon Prime Day. So this is my preferred mycorrhizal fungi. Um, if if you can't get mushroom, well, I use it with mushroom compost. I feel like the more mycos and mushrooms you can use, the better. Um, so hope that helps. Let me see if I can put a link in the chat. It is good stuff. Because most mycorrhizal doesn't have the extra the kelp, the biochar and humic acid. I know I've been playing around with my bee times Macbeth seeds because they're small and they can take a long time to germinate. So I've been playing around with different ways because I'm starting to give out seeds to people, and I would hate for somebody to use all their seeds that I give without giving them different options. I found soaking them just in water for a couple days, waiting until they sprout, and putting in soil works like a charm. But I've also found that humic acid, um, a 5:2 ratio of humic acid and kelp meal works wonders. So, okay, let's get rid of this. Don't get me started on this stuff. Let me put it in the comments. I'll put a link to the water soluble one, but it's called Bigfoot. If you just put in Amazon mycorrhizae Bigfoot, it'll come up. Missy says, my cowboy ended up being a cherry salad tomato. You're kidding. That's supposed to be a beefsteak, isn't it? Oh no, tell us more, Missy. Satya Danko was one of Yoder's faves. I know. Um, I'm growing one that he also loved, Maya and Scion's Airdrie Classic. I was talking with Jen about it today. Mine are this big and they're not supposed to be any bigger. I didn't realize it at the time. If you look at all the pictures, they're small. It's brandy wine crossed with a small variety. It's an heirloom. Starts with an S. I can't remember. But I was surprised. I was expecting large beef steaks, but they're not supposed to be. Catherine, my taiga is a large purple heart. And that's supposed to be a tricolor, is it not? I've been trying to grow taiga since 2020. Uh-oh. Looks like Karen Olivier's having some, or her seeds anyway, are having some trouble with stabilization, I guess. That's unfortunate. Um, Hope, my Seven Rivers has a little antho too. Interesting. And that's where I got mine, Carolina's Paradise too. I'm almost positive that's where I got mine as well. Um, and Hope Carolina's here too. Yeah. You know, it could just be that, either it's not stable yet, or maybe the picture's just deceiving. You could see at the top of that one where there could be a little bit of antho. Um, I've got another one of Allofirov's that actually 2 I'm growing that aren't true to type, which I'll show you in a bit. The Magician, which I did a review of in the group a few weeks ago, is a bicolor, and I believe it's supposed to be a bicolor, but, there was a listing on one of the Russian sites that showed it as a red tomato, so maybe they're just not stable yet or people getting mutations. Who knows? I think mutations are quite fun, but if it's something you really, really want to grow and like the Taiga you've been trying to grow since 2020. Oh, Catherine, I'm so sorry. I hear it's a really good one. Kina loves it. That's weird. Purple heart, really strange. Hey, Cynthia, glad you're here. Um, Erin. Ooh, I'd like to grow an asshole. Where is that bad boy? Oh, I left it over here. Yep, this is my asshole. I'll let you know how it tastes. I have a feeling it's good, even though I'm not a big fan of reds, I have a feeling that one's gonna be really good. I don't know. I wish I knew what it translated to. I've never looked that up, I'm not sure why. Looks like a giant apple, it does. Um, it loves you right back. I'm assuming you mean the heart-shaped tomato. Yeah, suffer well, we're tight. Loves me right back. I love that. Cynthia, unfortunately, something has been burrowing into many of my big tomatoes and even a few cherries too. Saving seeds, though. I'm sorry. I'm having critter problems too. If you've watched any of my garden tours, I keep a lot of micros up on my deck, and we've got, I haven't seen the red squirrel in a while, but chipmunks. Chipmunks like the micros. And it's funny, one of my varieties, it's a hanging ampullus variety. That Lucas Wallman bred, what is it called? Microberry, is swimming with fruits, delicious yellow fruits that are just everywhere. Between that, microberry and miracleberry, which is a red one, kind of the same, but red. I've never had a hanging variety with that much fruit on it before. But anyway, I saw my friendly neighborhood chipmunk hanging on one of the trusses the other day, just hanging. And then he saw me and he came up onto the deck railing with a yellow tomato in his mouth, just looking at me like that. It was quite funny. And I find remnants everywhere. So that's another reason why I try it, not with the hanging varieties, but I try to pick at first blush because they don't really do the green tomatoes. They like ripe tomatoes. They're like us. They're no dummies. And in the yard, we're having a bunny problem that they ate. I've shared this before. They ate most of my zinnias, and they're taking bites of things that are again, ripening. And it's like they take a bite and they're like, nah, and they just throw it away. It's painful. Also having a problem. This isn't critter related, but if you look at my yard, the supports that Rob put in for our raised beds this year, it's fencing. And then it's got slats in between, metal slats in between. A lot of tomatoes have been growing in between those slats, and I didn't catch it in time. So when I go to pick it, of course it rips apart. So I'm saving those for seed saving. But it's a real bummer when you see that and you're like, oh, it's this beautiful Jarson. Ah. So that's not critter related. Oh, and birds. Heidi, this for me this year's it's birds. We're sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think the birds are doing some of my micros too. It's been where Heidi and I live, it's been, really, really dry, and they're searching for any kind of water whatsoever. It sucks, green thumb, but we will prevail. Absolutely. And then what Heidi said, it's the heat for sure. We actually have a bird's nest in between two of our plants, big, big bushy plants. Thankfully, they're ones that are doing really well. So it's staying big and bushy. But I looked in today and the eggs are gone and there's no birds in it. So they must have hatched and flown off really quickly. Oh, Cynthia, Rosie Coyote was very tasty even after the rains. I'm so glad to hear that. My Rosie Coyote did not do well today. In fact, I was going to, we'll see how I'm doing on time. I wanted to do a little mini cherry tomato taste test, and I've got what she's referring to for those of you that may not know is I have a favorite cherry tomato. It's called Coyote. It's an Aztec variety. Craig has a whole page of it in about it rather in Epic Tomatoes. I love that little thing. Jen tried it and she hated it. So I guess it's you either love it or you hate it. Very complex flavors, very sweet. They're these small, opaque, yellow varieties, and I love them. Um, because they're a wild variety, they have exerted stigmas similar to like a currant tomato, like your spoon tomato, and they cross really easily. So I've been stabilizing some crosses we've gotten over the years. Rosie Coyote was one that showed up last year. It's like a rose. I would love to see pictures of yours, Cynthia. Um, like a rose color with a little antho at the top because it accidentally crossed with black strawberry a couple of years ago. A terribly unfortunate tomato, in my opinion, but it makes for good crosses. So I've got this is one that's the most stable. This is called Wiley Sweet Cherry, takeoff of Coyote. And man, these are good. They're a little bit bigger than Coyote, but they still have the same opaque skin. They've got a nice red to them. And then, do I have one here? This was Strawberry Coyote. This is a real small one. These I didn't have any more because we can't stop eating them. This has now turned yellow with a little bit of antho at the top, and the plant is doing great, and it's super tasty and super sweet. So there's like two I'm going to take off my stabilization list, but two that I'm keeping going, and they mature really quickly. So I can actually grow 2 generations out in one season to try to stabilize it quicker. Um, what's Bill's email again? I can't give it out publicly, but if you private message me, I can give it to you then. I ordered the whole Duran Duran collection plus some extras. Me too. Me too. Of course you did, Callie. We Duranis have to stick together. Um, Heidi, we just tried Brad's Atomic Grape and it was awesome. It just didn't grow that well. Yeah, that plant is a drama king, queen. For sure. A lot of people think it's dead because it's wispy, it gets edema. And that's another one. People either love it or they hate it. We loved it too. It's got thick skin, which I normally don't like, but very complex flavors. Eva, I can't wait for my pink Berkeley tie-dye to fruit. Me too. I love it so much. And Suffer Well has pink Berkeley tie-dye in it along with Cherokee Purple, which is probably why I love it so much. Heidi says, my Cherokee Lime Stripes is almost solid yellow. It's delish and kind of a little pink inside, but I sort of expected it to have green stripes. It has no stripes? Because it is supposed to have stripes. It's like it's a green when ripe with stripes, and when it matures, it gets to be like that amber yellow that a lot of greens get. So yeah, it's supposed to have stripes. That was a good one from last year we grew. Robin, save the tomatoes, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks, Robin. Darcy. Hi, Darcy. Just got back from the vets. Thanks for the reminder on ordering from Bill Yoder by this coming Monday. Oh, it's Dorothy. Hey, Dorothy. Glad you're here. You're welcome. I know I think he had said at the end of this week, so I confirmed with him before the show, and I know he wants to do a stop, and he said he'll stop on Monday. Regarding Seven Rivers Tricolor, had it alongside Berkeley tie-dye, so it might have been overshadowed, but mine was juicy and mildly sweet with no acidity. Okay. Did it have a heavy antho flavor? That's what I want to know. I assume this is for Brad's. A lot of wilt, they just look dead, then all of a sudden you get fruit. Yeah, they tend to do that. They're very wispy. A lot of people trash their seedlings. A lot of people have never grown it will trash their seedlings early thinking that it's dying or they'll overwater it, but that's just the way that plant looks. Riverdale Gardens, all my tomatoes looking pretty good, as are my bananas noir, Jarsimon tricolor, and Bow Mango. Good, I'm glad to hear that about all of them. My bananas noir, the Jarsimon tricolor, I know and grew and gave so many of you seeds. I'm happy to hear that about your Bow Mango because I'm sure you guys have seen in the group, many of us have had very bad luck with Bow Mango. Kind of similar stories. Mine was growing just fine, put out fruit, we got ripe fruit, and then it just wilted. I think it's bacterial wilt. And I know Linda had the same problem. And then I think it was Dorothy put something in the group. And then so many of us weighed in. So I'm going to reach out to the vendor, not to, you know, be nasty or anything like that, but I think they need to know because that can't be a coincidence that it's happening. But if I'm really really happy that it's doing well for you, and I know Malachite Jen said it was doing well for her also. I enjoyed the Fred's tie dye this year. Yeah, Fred's tie dye is a good one. Um, I like Dwarf Wild Fred even better. Potato leaves and Kentucky heat don't mix well. They get super crispy, but the tomatoes have all grown well. That's good to hear. Um, yeah, mine are getting crispy too, more so than the regular leaf. Linda, my potato leaves are too. More trouble, not sure why, but they make big tomatoes. How much Bigfoot do you use to transplant? I do a sprinkle, the granulated, I just do a sprinkle on the roots. I don't actually sprinkle it in the hole because that's a lot, but I'll take the plant and I'll rub the root system with it and then put it in the hole. I do it with my micros when I'm up potting, just a little sprinkle. I swear, I don't know that it's the what's the effect? Placebo effect, but I swear my plants have done great the last 2 years since starting to use that. Hector's here. Hey, Hector. Just got back from harvesting at the garden. Totally forgot it was Thursday. That's okay. You can always watch the playback. Um, oh, is this the Wild Boar Farms one or the Berkeley Pink Tie Dye? I know I'm very behind in the comments. They were free plants, fun to get when free for sure. Today I just container grow, paid for some, got 2 green micros, tags got switched when replanted. One is tasty to me. That's a good thing because that's what it's all about. You know, even my turtle purple, which is not turtle purple, it actually tastes really, really good. Has anyone tried cornmeal around tomatoes to suppress blight? I have not. I have not. I miss my Jerry Licks. Um, Cornmeal I used to get rid of ants, says Eva. Did it work? Grow, cook, eat, repeat. Lauren, thank you so much for telling us about mushroom compost. My tomatoes are growing wild this year. Yay! You're welcome. You're welcome. I feel like it hasn't, maybe it's only come into my stratosphere the last couple of years, the mycorrhizal fungi and the mushroom compost. I feel like it wasn't talked about much years ago. I mean, we all knew mushrooms did great things, but gosh, I'm so grateful. There's nothing around me. We're, you know, we're 20 minutes from a grocery store, but that place happens to be 10 minutes from us. I had called all over New Jersey trying to find a place that would deliver to us, and they're like, no. But then I found a place where I often get Fox Farm potted soil, and it turns out they had it. So lucky me. Um, Looks like we're talking about problems with a tomato. Robin, my painted lady ended up in the antho variety. Oh, well, it's a sad face. So I guess you don't care for antho either, or is it that it's not true to type? Rowena says, according to Karen, there are lots of her seeds going around that aren't correct. She's telling people to make sure you get seeds from one of her trusted sources. Hopefully that works. Even trusted sources, I've had problems. It just happens, these things happen. But I know she likes Bene. What is it called now? Fred Hempel's the Bene seeds. Uprising seeds, I think, is one of Karen's favorites. Secret Seed Cartel. But yeah, even with trusted vendors, I've had not with her varieties, but I've had issues too. It just happens, you know? Hey, Malachi Jen, checking in after taking kiddo to the water park. How fun. I should have bought from Secret Seed Cartel instead of Etsy. I wonder if what I have growing is tundra. Hmm, maybe. Um, I can't say enough about Secret Seed Cartel. I'm going to talk about a couple of their varieties, if I can ever. We've been on an hour. I wanted to do a taste test and talk about varieties. I was told by Heidi Schmaltz Dolan, hi Heidi, if you're watching, a while back that she really honors the work that Secret Seed Cartel does and that they're very choosy, selective. Selective's a better word about what they choose to grow. Um, and so far, like everything has grown true to type. And now there's this dwarf, um, Nano's meatball dwarf that just blew my mind. And I'm going to show it in a minute. Oh, Kina made it just in time for A-hole. Glad you made it in time for the A-hole. Never thought I'd say that asshole looks delicious. I know. Hugs for our shared critter problems. Yes, yes. Um, our fave so far, says Heidi, our banana noir drop the micro. That's good to hear. Adora, Brad's Atomic Grape, and white cherry tomatoes. That's good to know. Harley says, I'm having major splitting issues. All it does is rain here in Louisiana. Unfortunately, it's so upsetting. I'm sorry to hear that. We're getting a bit too, only because it's so dry. And then it rains for 15 minutes. And so, you know, splitting can be inconsistent watering. For those of you that growing bananas noir, if you have things that are blushing and you know it's going to rain, pull those off because that one can be prone to splitting as well. Just let it finish ripening on your counter. It does so beautifully. Another coyote is a big full cherry, and it was yummy as well. I forgot the name right now. Oh, will you let me know and send me pics if you can, Cynthia? Um, I kind of send my coyote crosses out to anybody that's willing to take a chance and grow some tasty varieties, and so far they really have been. Nikki says, I read that Alafirov released some of his varieties before they were stabilized, so there will be variants depending on the growers collecting how they selected. Like Jarson, just like Jarson. One of the things I love about Jarsons is all the different variants, and I love Alafirov, so it's cool. I've got a couple things I'm going to show that are mutations that I'm super psyched about. Rats have been your biggest problem this year. I'm sorry to hear that. Rats. Sorry, that was a dad joke. Hey, y'all, just got done using my food mill and making some homemade tomato sauce with my maters. Good to hear. Okay, I'm gonna start getting to some stuff. We have my parents are visiting, and they're taking us out to dinner tonight. 6:30 reservation, so I got to be out of here by 6. And I want to show you some stuff. And I wanted to do. I don't know if I hold off on my cherry taste test till next week. Let me show you the cherries I wanted to share. So I haven't put this review up either. This one I meant to do a couple weeks ago. This is called Terracotta Cherry. This was a release by Heirloom Seed House, Evan, and he had it up there for sale for a hot minute, and then he pulled it down because he wasn't sure if they were stable or not. But some of us got it in time. Kina got it. I think I gave seeds to some of you out there. They are beautiful and very tasty. Let me show you what the inside looks like. I'll put an official review up in the group, but the interior, like it looks pretty like this. Let me do this once more right. Looks very pretty like this. And he said in the listing, some can be pink, some can be terracotta color, but this interior is the wow factor. Really yummy tomato. Really yummy. And I'll just show a couple. I already showed my coyote crosses. This is Black Hole Sun. This is Bill Jeffers' release. It's a Sun Gold. No, I'm forgetting. It's a Sun Gold cross. I know Sun Gold's in it. I forget what the other one is. It's outstanding. Really, really delicious. He's a talented breeder. Black Hole Sun. Get it in your collection if you don't already. Super sweet. Let's test the bricks on that. I already tested the bricks for the review, but just for heck's sake. 7.4. I would have thought it would be higher. That's all right. Anything else? Oh, Cordaro, you're out there. You've got this. This is called You Can't, You Won't, and You Don't Stop. These came from Happy Cat Farms. They're super tasty. I sent some for Ansel because I thought he would appreciate the name. And it's named after a Beastie Boys song. Those are really good. Reinhard's Purple Sugar Cherry from Reinhard Craft. Really delicious. Anything else? Oh, and I only have one because, again, I can't stop eating it. This is Pixie Fire. Teresa Smith from Terra Nova Farms released this in limited release this year. I was lucky enough to have seeds. I'm also growing her Earth Angel. It is outstanding. That is loud flavor. So much going on there. Really delicious. That was good. And Bill Yoder's Raspberry Beret is one of my favorites of the year too. That's delicious. I grew all of his Prince ones. I have not tasted Beautiful Ones yet. This is Beautiful Ones. I'll wait. I want to show you guys a lot of other things. But lucky enough to have some really good, tasty cherries this year. If you are growing a good cherry, put in the comments, tell us what it is. He also told Mrs. Tomato Head to not say asshole after making a, oh no, she didn't face. Oh, sorry, Ansel, but that's what it's called, ASSOL. Asshole. Maybe I'll call it asshole. I planted my Black Hole Sun so late because I forgot about my seedlings. Didn't think that I would take, but they have a strong will to live and are getting bigger. Yay, that's awesome. Oh, I forgot about this one. This one is important. I think I may have shown it last time. This is Carl's Emslandtraube. For those of you that have watched the show, you know that gentleman out in Germany he meant to contact Jen, but he contacted me instead, thinking Jen was Mrs. Tomato Head. And he wanted to send her seeds for this variety that is 103-year-old grandfather bred back right after World War II. And so I gave him Jen's contact info, but I'm like, could I have some too? And he said, sure. So he sent us these he told us right off the bat, similar to B times Macbeth, because they're tiny, tiny seeds. They take a long time to germinate. So if any of you are growing it next year, I would start it 3 weeks earlier than anything else. But this is Carl. It says 101 there, but he was 103, and he passed away just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's quite an honor to grow Carl's Emslandtraube today. It's this year especially. And Tim is the grandson. Tim, if you are watching, you're right. It might just rival Sun Gold. Very, very good. And I'm honored to grow this. Thank you very much. I know he watches sometimes. Sent photo. Oops, you sent a photo on Messenger. Great. We'll take a look. So far, Excuse me, pink bumblebee has been my favorite, best tasting, most productive cherry, and they're quite beautiful too. Good to know. Did I do pink last year? I did do pink last year. That was the only, no, I did sunrise bumblebee. Oh, he's from Austria. Sorry. Thank you, Kina. I can always count on Kina for this stuff. She keeps me in place. Hope Black Hole Sun is my favorite cherry this year, right? I mean, just look at them. It's delicious. It's delicious. Traube is German for grapes. I don't think I knew that. And Emsland is the area he's from, right? So it would be Emsland grapes. Very cool. Very cool. Black Hole Sun, I want you. Heidi says Isis candy grows like a weed, but it rots as soon as you pick it. I haven't grown that one in years. Wasn't a fan. Very pretty, though. I'll be curious to hear what you think. Keegan's Garden says, I don't get to eat my cherry tomatoes. My 3-year-old eats them all, and so far her favorite is Coyote. Yay, she's got great taste. That was my little boy, too. My son, who's now 26, he loved Coyotes. So not only do I think it's delicious, but it holds special meaning to us here in the Zaleski household. Missy says, Dragon Eye is my favorite cherry-like tomato this year, producing in the heat and the cold, loving it. That's great. Black Hole Sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Yeah, exactly. Kathy says, I'm so disappointed. I'm growing Sun Gold and I don't have the correct variety. Sun Gold is cherry and orange. What mine is growing turned out yellow and it's saladette sized. Yeah, that's definitely not correct. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure you know this. Sun Gold is a hybrid, so you can, if you get it from a trade, you would want to make sure the person has the original seeds and not saved seeds. You can save seeds from Sun Gold and regrow it. It just won't be Sun Gold anymore. But yeah, that's disappointing. I hate when that happens. Coyote and Chiapas both ripening. I don't know Chiapas. Maybe I need to. And Dragon's Eye has good flavor. Awesome sauce. All right. So what do I have to show you? Oh, I wanted to show you, I've shown this plant a few times. I've discovered a new micro, which is absolutely outstanding. Where's my slide here? I've shown the plant in a few different episodes. Maybe I don't have it up here. That's okay. It's called Zusa Luis or Sweet Luis. And it looks empty because I've taken all the fruits off. Where's the bowl? Oh, I've taken all the fruits off to save seeds, my second round of seeds. It's very productive. You get these gorgeous yellow fruits. It's no mistake that normally yellow micros, to me, are flavorless. The only one I've found that isn't, other than this, is Heidi's. Gigi's Glory was really great. These are excellent. And the Brix is an 8.2. An 8.2 for a micro dwarf is very high. That high sugar content. Tons of flavor. So, and it's nice and compact. And it keeps producing. I know that the fruit are small. It's kind of hard to see. Keeps producing, doing really well. It's topping out at 10 inches tall, which is about 25 centimeters. You can get seeds from Sabine at Vienna Seeds, and I can I'll put a link in the chat here. If you're looking for a micro for our Micropalooza, which will start September 1st, and we'll give more info soon. This is a really, really great one. Easy to grow indoors because of the size. And boy, are these flavorful. I wasn't expecting much. I knew it was cool. Sabine had given me seeds. We had done a trade. I had never heard of it before. She didn't have it for sale in her shop at the time. And there's really no information about it. But wow, that is power punch of flavor. So I'm definitely growing it again for Micropalooza. Okay, the link went up. Yes, so that I wanted to share with you guys about that. Okay, I'm not sure what else to say about Suffer Well. I already shared my heart photo, but this variety from the Depeche Mode collection from Bill Yoder just blew us away. Blew us away. It checks all the boxes for me. Really loud flavor. So sweet. In fact, the bricks. Now, let me put this in context. Cherry tomatoes can get up there because they're known for their sweetness. They can get up into 8, 9, 10, like that bricks of 8.2 from Micro's crazy, crazy sweet. But when you're talking regular tomatoes, dwarf tomatoes, normally, sweetness is only part of the equation, right? Because there's like the acid and the tanginess and all of that. You don't normally get a great big tomato and it's sugary sweet like a cherry, right? So normally like a really good tomato, they range anywhere from like 4 to 6. They don't normally get any bigger than that. The bricks on Suffer Well, where'd it go? 8.9. No joke. 8.9. So this thing is delicious and I can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Isn't that a Depeche Mode song? Just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Anyway, if you're ordering from Bill and you haven't done so already, I highly recommend Suffer Well. Also another one of his that we just tasted the other night, Shake the Disease. Now, Heidi, I know you tasted it. You guys didn't like it. Robin, I loved it. Really complex flavors. Really complex flavors. It started out with like your mouth puckers. Similar to, we grew one last year called One Flemme, and or however it's pronounced in France. And it's almost like you bite into it, you're eating a grapefruit initially. But then all of a sudden, all the sweetness comes and the smoothness, and it just loved this too. So Shake the Disease, great. Strange Love was okay for me. Although Heidi said, or no, not Heidi, Linda, you said it actually is getting better as the season goes on, so I want to try it. It wasn't bad. Even with the antho, it didn't have that antho flavor. To me, it just wasn't, the loud flavor that I love. But Shake the Disease and Suffer Well. Run, don't walk to order those. I wanted to share with you some other favorites. I haven't put up the Suffer Well review in the group yet. Probably should before he's done taking orders on Monday. Nano's Meatball Dwarf. I don't even know what to say about Nano's Meatball Dwarf. I did put a very extensive review in the group the other day. Randy, I think it was it last week here? He said he had tried Nano's Meatball, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. He said he had tried Nano's Meatball Dwarf. He said it right in the comments. He tried it, and it was as close to a perfect 10 as you'll get. I wanted to love it. When you look at the description, and I've read it a couple times here in this show, this comes from Secret Seed Cartel. They say, most productive dwarf we've ever grown. I'm not sure that's been true for me. They say it's the largest fruits of a dwarf they've ever grown. That's not true for me either. But they say sweet with a deep tomato taste at the end. Seriously, the best dwarf we have grown to date. And you know what? It's the best dwarf I've ever grown. Here are 2. I've got some upstairs. They're just about ripe. Just want to give you the size. We're growing 2 plants, and thankfully I've got a nice healthy sucker plant too. This variety is outstanding. Sweetness, little tartness, again, that loud. When I do my reviews, I come from a place of loving loud flavor. If you like milder tomatoes, I wouldn't go by my reviews, but hopefully I try to be as honest as possible. Nano's Meatball Dwarf is outstanding. And look at the nice gloss to the fruits. and a nice size. So, I'd have to agree. It's as close to a perfect 10 as you can get. We gave it a 9.5. Suffer well. It's been a 9.5. I might actually move that up to a 10. How do you contact Mr. Yoder? Is there a website to look at? No. There's been instructions. If you look in the pinned section or the featured section of the group, there's been information up there, or if you search in the group, basically you need to email him. And there's been a couple people that have posted pictures of his varieties. So if you're looking for his email address, you can private message me, but I would search in the group for the posts showing his varieties. The Prince varieties are out there. You can Google those easily, but the new Depeche Mode Mode isn't sold anywhere yet. Duran Duran, you won't find those anywhere other than photos in our group and on his personal profile. If you go on his personal profile on Facebook, he has made some of those posts public, so you can see it. I was just looking on Secret Seed website last night. Yes, unfortunately, Nano's Meatball Dwarf is not in stock at the moment, but I put a review on Instagram, and they commented back saying they were thrilled with my review, and they said they're growing double the plants this year. So they will have an abundance of seeds ready. And shout out to those of you who are also growing it. I hope you love it as much as I do. Where's my buddy? I saw my buddy come in. Hey, Deb. Glad you're here. Should name an amazing variety Sucker Punch. Yeah, for sure. And Kelly, you also ordered Suffer Well from Bill. Good call. Heidi says, we didn't hate, this is regarding Shake the Disease. We didn't hate it. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It kind of had fruity notes. I'm sure I asked you this. Was it fully ripe? That may make a difference. I don't know. You need to grow a money tree. I know. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's Nano's Meatball Dwarf. I wanted to share with you some of my favorites. All right, this one isn't necessarily one of my favorites, but I wanted to share kind of what's going on with Lavorgienne. This is a variety that we have promoted since my friend Sand from France, she's in the group. She gave me seeds many months ago, and I looked at these and I'm like, whoa, what is this? I need to get my hands on it. It's bred by a breeder in France named Michel Herant. It is a cross between Black Crim and Evergreen. And if you look at the pictures here, that's what really grabbed me, was those pictures. Plus, I love Black Crim. And so I've heard from many of you that many of you won seeds as prizes, or I was able to, do a trade when I still had seeds. So many of you have said the same thing as me, that you got a regular leaf also. It is supposed to be potato leaf. So I'm finding that the fruits on my regular leaf and my potato leaf are so far looking different. And just in general, every fruit on both plants looks completely different from one another. And I've noticed that from the photos as well. So this was the regular leaf version of Lavorgienne. And I know Jen had, when hers ripened first, and she sent me a picture similar to this. And I'm like, where's the green? It's supposed to have green in it. It didn't seem like it was the right variety, but sure enough, my regular leaf plant produced these beautiful Auburn beefsteaks, and they were tasty. They were tasty. It wasn't amazing, but very tasty. There were some people saying like the top is inedible and all this stuff, which had me concerned. It's not at all. It's a good tomato. I think we rated it a 7, maybe even 8. I'll have to put it in the group. That's neither here nor there, but there's nothing on it that's inedible. But I wanted to show you what the potato leaf one looks like. Thought I put it aside here. Okay, here we go. This is one of the potato leaf ones. Not fully ripe yet, but obviously it's not going to get to be all brick colored. It's getting soft, but you can see just the shapes are all different. So this clearly not a stable variety. Do I care? No. Not at all. I think it's cool that I've got mutations. So if you're growing it and you've got different fruits too, put something in the comments and let me know. Um, this one, even if the top stays bright green, I don't see how that would be inedible. It was a tasty tomato. So that's the Vorgian. I was afraid I would be disappointed after what I heard, but that couldn't be further from the truth. All right, what's next? Ah, here's a great one. I was given seeds for this from, and Kina was as well, for Sergeant Pepper's White, which is a mutation of Sergeant Pepper's Yellow. I've never grown any of the Sergeant Peppers, and that's because I believe they all have antho at the top, if I'm not mistaken. But our Jarson Angel from Poland sent us seeds for Sergeant Pepper's White. And Sergeant Pepper's White, if you look at this slide, the photo on the right is there's a listing on a site that has this mutation. They're selling it as Sergeant Pepper's White. And they said it's a mutation, excuse me, from Sergeant Pepper's Yellow. And so our Jarson Angel grew it last year. She got fruits that looked pretty similar to this. Now they said the description for Sergeant Pepper's White says that we originally acquired it under the name Yellow, but it is strongly felt in the comparison. Color is several shades lighter, so we changed it to white. It says the typical purple shoulders and stripes are still visible. And you can see that here in the photo. This is one of the smaller ones. I should have saved one of the bigger ones, but I've been saving seeds like crazy. This is one of the smaller ones, beautiful and really tasty. So I think we've got ourselves another mutation here. We'll have to rename it something. It's outstanding. This picture shows some of the fruits we cut up the other night. Really, really great. So where to get seeds? I mean, I'll have them to trade at the end of the season. Will you get the same thing? I don't know. I don't know, but I sure love this, and I sure will be growing it. Again, let me give you the link to the listing that actually sells Sergeant Pepper White. I'm super psyched that there's no antho on it. Okay. So for now, I'm just calling it Sergeant Pepper's White, even though there's no white on it, and it doesn't meet the description of Sergeant Pepper's White here in this listing, which I just posted. This is one special tomato. We've tried a few that have the similar look. Her Majesty's Grandmother and Zolati Medeo, something like that. And they were They were a little dry, didn't really knock my socks off, but Sergeant Pepper's White sure did. Let me get to some comments here. Cordaro says our Cazula 127 potato leaf and regular leaf that came from the same seeds are the same shape, but one is pink and the other's purple. How cool. Super cool. Oops, Deb says I have both Lavorgian left types too, different fruits on each, but nothing close to ripening yet. Please keep us posted. Super interesting. I swear, like every fruit on the plants looks different, but I was shocked when Jen sent me a picture of that purple one when hers ripened first. I'm like, there's no green on it at all, which I kind of liked actually. I feel the yellows with pink taste better, stronger, and more complex. I agree. I don't love all yellow. I don't love all orange, but bicolor, that's a different story. That Cherokee purple bicolor was outstanding. Oh, believe me, I'll be saving these seeds. I will absolutely be saving the seeds. I thought I had the picture of what my Jarson Angel, what she grew. I knew what she had grown was not white either. She called it Sergeant Pepper's White still. She grew something, it was a little darker than this, but similar kind of coloring. Right, Kina? If you're still here. So I wasn't sure if it would revert back to white or what I would get, but This is a really delicious tomato. Do all yellows have thin skin? I don't think so, but that's a good question. You're a rock star, Lauren. Thank you. That's why I was thinking, I'm like, gotta save seeds, gotta save seeds. And then I'm like, well, I need to put something on the show. So it's like the smallest one out of all of them. The plant is crazy productive, really healthy. And this is one of the smaller ones, even in this weather. So that's cool. So what else do I have up my sleeve here? All right. So we're going back to some of my favorites of the year so far. I put a review of this in the group also. What a surprise dwarf ochre heart was. I think because Kina says yes, it was a darker orange. Dwarf, I think I wasn't expecting much from dwarf ochre heart other than I love the color. I'm really into that butterscotch color. Um, and the shape of it, it's so cool. These came from Carolina's Paradise. She has them on in her Etsy shop. I'll put a link in the comments here. Hang on a sec. I think I saw her store is actually taking a break right now. I'll get back to the flavor in a minute. Okay, I just put the listing here. Wow, this was phenomenal. It is so sweet. It is so delicious. It is such a power punch of flavor. Again, checks all the boxes that I love. Really intense flavor in this little guy. Plant is really productive for a dwarf, and it's really healthy. Keeps pumping these out. I don't have any at peak ripeness right now because I keep eating them. I am saving seeds though, but here's one. Not quite ripe yet, but they look like this. What a treat this was. I know some of you are growing it also, but really just loved it. The Brix was a 7.7, which again is really high for a dwarf or indeterminate tomato, rated a 9 out of 10. 3-foot tall plant. I'm growing in a 5-gallon grow bag, and it's still crazy productive. Flavor's outrageous, much sweeter than I expected, and the intense flavor lingered on the palate. Other than Carolina's Paradise, I don't know if you can find it anywhere. It's a rare variety. So, put it on your wish list and hit up Carolina's Paradise for this baby. Again, Uluru Ochre wasn't my favorite. It wasn't bad. It just didn't knock my socks off. And I think life's too short for tomatoes that don't knock my socks off. So I was just kind of growing it for just to see. And you put rare in there and I'm like, oh, I've got to grow that. But it's so flavorful and so delicious. So that's dwarf ochre heart. I can't believe how many 9s out of 10s we're getting already this year. In years past, we'll get a couple. When I say a couple, like a couple, 2, 3 maybe. We've already had several, the ones I'm sharing with you guys, including no? Did I skip over one? I always forget a slide in every episode. Come on. Oh, here. Okay. Ready for this one? Bam. Jarson 10. OMG. We've had several Jarsons already. We've tasted Jarson 20, version 1. We've tasted one of our 16s. We've tasted, did I ever say 12 version 1? We've tasted 7. We've tasted 5. No, we haven't tasted 5 yet. Anyway, Jarson 10, it wasn't on the top of the Jarsons that I thought would be outrageously flavored. Jarson 10 is a cross between Ananas Noir and Kazula 37 version 4. Kazula 37 version 4 is a cross between, it's like steak sandwich. Hang on. Steak sandwich and Pink King. So Kazulas are bred by Anna Jankowski of Poland. So Jarson is a male breeder from Poland. He took a Nanis Noir, crossed it with Kazula 37-4, and created this masterpiece. And there are different varieties out there, just like there are with the other Jarsons and Kazulas, but wow, 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 this one knocked our socks off. Absolutely delicious. Just and they're big, as you can see. How did I write down the size? Took pictures of um of them all on scales. I guess I didn't put it in this slide, but really, really delicious. I think somebody's growing it for our Jarson or Team Jarson grow out. Pretty sure. Um, so this one so far out of all the Jarsons, this has been my favorite so far, but we have a lot. We've got like 25 to get through. Oh, Jen pulled a huge Jarson 3 today. I don't think I'm growing Jarson 3. You have to let me know how it is. I mean, I'm jealous. Hey, Jerry. That Jarson 10 looks so awesome. I know it does. Look at that interior. I know, Deb. Normally, when I make my slides, I do 3, 4 photos in the square tops. I like to do like the top, the bottom, the interior at least, and sometimes, the open fanned out. But once I saw the 2 fanned out, I'm like, I've got to slice this thing because that's the money shot right there. It's as delicious as it looks. It really is. That one's so pretty. It is. It is. Hashtag save the tomatoes, says Kelly. Absolutely. Looks delicious. The pink streak inside is next level. And that's what I found with my Jarson 1 tricolor that I gave to many of you. Had similar interior, not quite as gold, but the interior was just, yeah, next level for sure. That picture is me. I agree. That's a Lauren tomato if I ever saw one. Cynthia says, hi, Jen. I love your shows too. Me too. We all love Jen. I love Jen's shows, Jen Joy. I don't know if I'll taste this one. Something beat me to the initial taste test. Oh no. What was it? Damn. Wow, nice Sergeant Pepper white. Yes, I agree. That thing, yeah, it's outstanding. It really is, especially compared to some of the other things I've grown with that similar shape. So ecstatic tomato season is here. I know, isn't it fun? But isn't it also cool that even in the middle of winter, we can have shows like this and dream about tomatoes? I mean, it's fun actually having the tomatoes sitting here, but even it's cool that we can talk about them in the off season too. All right, what else we got here? I didn't get a chance to make too many slides. We got Sufferwell, we got Nanos, Lavorgian, we did it. Sergeant Pepper's White, Dwarf Ochre Heart. Okay, this is Jarson 4. This is not my Jarson 4, but this is the Jarson 4 that I ordered from Tomato Eden. It's a cross between Malachite Box or Malachitowaya Szkatułka and a variety called Sikiuka Chutsiak. And I know I have a Polish last name. I am not Polish. It's my husband, so I don't know how to pronounce it. So that's the cross. Anything with Malachite Box in the cross, you've got me. So I wanted to grow this. And the Jarson 4, we haven't had a ripe one yet, but I picked one to show you. It's blushing barely, but this is what we're getting. They're all like this, most of them much bigger, which gets me so excited. So I looked up the variety Sikiuka Chutsiak, and it stands for, translates to Chutsiak's purse, like a purse. Sikiuka, I guess, is like a purse or a bag. So I'm guessing that variety has this kind of shape. It's similar to Jarson 13 Ochre Pear, which I think I have here somewhere. That's outstanding too. Very similar. Oh, here. No, that's not it. I guess I didn't bring one of those down. So I'm really excited about this variant. I haven't seen this one before. So this is where you have to name it like Jarson 4 Plum or something like that. I was expecting red beefsteak, but the plant is incredibly productive, and they have these, and like I said, most of them are quite a bit bigger. I love this shape. I love this plum shape. Um, Growing a few things like this, Jarson 13 ochre pear and uh, Quarantico di Ravenna, um, which we did taste and was really, really good too. So I'm excited for this variant. Jerry says, I really love the looks of that one too. Yeah, it's exciting. Cynthia, I've got an Italian tomato with a similar shape from Franchi. Is it Franchi red pear? I'm growing that too. Just picked my first one. And it does, if it's that same one, and I bet it is, they're pretty famous for that, their Franchi red pear tomato. Yeah, it looks almost exactly like that. You're right. I've got a groundhog this year, and I just realized while I was editing a video, I never put up my reflective tape in the garden. Oh, yeah. So I think I'm having a lot of pest issues chomping on my tomatoes. Totally forgot about that. That was a great tip from last year. Jen takes this reflective tape. It looks like metallic ribbon, and she'll tie it on the fence posts and all that. They, blow in the breeze, and they scare off birds and critters and stuff. We had a problem with a groundhog in particular 3 years ago, and it was jumping up on top of our grow bags that we had tomatoes in, taking the plant, shaking it, and waiting for tomatoes to fall, and then eating it, taking a bite, and it's like, eh. So Rob set up some blink cameras so we can catch it in action, and I have videos. I actually think I showed one of the videos maybe a couple months ago on this show. They're so funny, like devouring our entire bean bed, and he was really enjoying Brad's atomic grape, I remember. But they are pretty destructive, and I'm learning bunnies are too, but they can't climb as high as groundhogs do. So sorry about that. Dancing Vita, Lauren, do you happen to have a malachite box in your basket? I'm growing GWR tomatoes for the first time, and I have no idea what they should look like when ripe. Internet shows so many different looks. Funny you asked that. I was just showing this to another member this morning who thinks she doesn't have a malachite box. I've got a million pictures of it. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, wait. I did have one up there. Did I take it down? I can find it quickly. I'll show you exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's green when ripe. It's neon green on the inside. When it's ripe, it's like an amber color. Hang on one sec. I sent a bunch of pictures to this friend of mine. Okay, here's one. So this fruit looks a little bit past its prime, but that's the color it's supposed to be. And it gets pretty obvious when it's ripe that it turns that color, and then you can just press on the shoulders and it turns, it gets soft. Delicious tomato. But the person I was speaking with, I think it was last night, hers was more of an orange. And while they do get a little bit of a yellow hue to them, they're definitely not orange. So hope that's the malachite you have. Jen says, no problems in Materville, and I put it up there, the reflective tape. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will have to do that too. I did it last year after you suggested it and completely forgot about it. I ordered these from Carolina's. We're talking Jarson 4, maybe? She's got some nice Jarsons. Jen says, Ben and I tasted Shamrock Dwarf today. Talk about neon green. Yeah? Cool. Yeah, how was it? The tomato shape on one of my Lavorgien plants is like your Jarson 4 shape. And that, Deb, is kind of like the pictures that, let me get rid of this. The pictures that I had seen that's what I thought they were supposed to look like. Although the more you dive into pictures of Lavorgienne, the more I notice that everybody has lots of different shapes. I guess that's the thing. Um, but yeah, I've got some pictures, but you can see this is kind of like a plum shape also. So we're all gonna have all these different Lavorgiennes, which is kind of cool. Um, Thank you, Lauren. I hope so too. Until now, they are just light green. Luckily, no sign of orange. Yeah, I hope not too. Feel free to private message me photos and stuff. I know, sometimes the first time, especially with green when ripes and stuff, it's people are worried they're not going to know when it's ripe and all that. But that I've grown a lot of malachite box in my day, and that's what they're supposed to look like. Heidi says, I read an article about Lavian recently, and they showed pictures of Michel Herant, I guess you mean, in his greenhouse, and it looked like he grafted them onto another rootstock. So Michel Herant is the breeder of Lavorgienne. That's interesting. I've seen pictures of him in a greenhouse before too. Apparently, he doesn't give seeds away any longer, and he requests that they never be for sale. So it's one of those that we save seeds and we share. What's my favorite green cherry? Anything but evil olive. I haven't grown evil olive. Believe it or not, I haven't grown a whole lot of green cherries. We grew green doctors last year, was not good. Although I hear green doctors frosted is good. And so I was going to grow that this year. We've got beautiful ones by Bill Yoder, which I have not tried yet. Isn't that weird? I grow so many greens and not a whole lot of green cherries. Huh. I never thought about that. Interesting. Jewel beetle micro dwarf is pretty good. Much better than fat frog, but yeah, gosh, now I'm gonna have to change that. But next year, Heidi got me seeds for not sun gold but sun green, which is apparently made by the sun gold people, and totally growing that one next year. You've never had a green tomato. Well, let me tell you, my parents are visiting for a couple of days, so my mom has taken part in our tastings at night, and she had never had a green one ripe either, and she was kind of grossed out by the idea. And it was like first bite. She's like, I'm turned around. She really loves them now. So that's cool. Success. Okay, I only have a couple more minutes, so let's see what else we can get to. Dwarf Okahara, we got the Jarson. Yeah, we talked about the Seven Rivers tricolor. I was going to show that mine had antho on it. I guess it's debatable. These are from two different sources, these photos. The one on the right, obviously, we wouldn't know if there's antho, although often the antho will come up into the center. It doesn't appear that way. The one on the left, if it is, doesn't look like a whole lot. But yeah, I'm definitely getting antho on mine too, and I only noticed it a couple days ago. I'm like, whoa, what is this? What is this? So we'll see. We'll see how it tastes. Oh, I wanted to show you. So we were talking, somebody mentioned about Alafirov and his varieties being released a bit early, not quite stable yet, which I think is uber cool, just like Jarson. Let me show you. We tasted this the other night. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Here it is. Look at this beauty. So that shows red beefsteak. Look what I've got. Isn't that gorgeous? That is a good tomato. Good tomato. I think we rated it an 8. Really tasty. Excited about that. It wasn't initially that I realized that it was not true to the type that I realized. But I like it even better. I love these colors. Super cool. All right. What else? Showed you Carl's Emsland-Traube. Oh, this one isn't necessarily not true to type. It's only starting to ripen. Rojo Verde o Bicolore de Harl Jaw. Got these seeds from Tomato Eden. They were new for her this year. Breeders Juan Antonio Romero Lopez from Spain. Did I write anything down about this? I've featured it definitely in my past episodes. Starting to pick fruits just yesterday. This is what they look like so far. Definitely not ripe yet. But I don't know. It's looking kind of gold and bicolor. I mean, that it is bicolor. Maybe, I was going to say maybe hers aren't ripe yet. I'm not even really seeing the stripes, though. Huh. Check it out. Do I have another one here? Nope. So I've got two big ones that look just like this. So it's like a surprise birthday party every single day in Tomato World. Super excited for this. Super excited for this. And look how big it is. So crazy. Will you please tell me about your easily removable tomato stickers? It's funny you asked that. Somebody asked me for the link the other day. I will. Let me see if I can get the link. They're great. I feel like they're the perfect size to write. I mean, I don't write the full variety on there, but enough code where I know what it is. And they are removable without the sticky glue. So of course, they're from Amazon, as is my entire life, basically. I'll put the link in the comments if I can find it. Here it is. Chroma label. Chroma label 3/4 inch round colored stickers. Get you the link and I'll put it in the comments. Started using these last year and really like them. I know everybody has different ways of labeling. Some write directly on the tomato. I prefer the labels. I mean, it's a little bit of a pain. It's in a roll, and I keep it in like my little gardening fanny pack or whatever, and just take it off and write on it, and then put it on the tomato. But they're really great. They make them in different sizes too, bigger and smaller. You can even color code, I suppose, if you wanted to, with different colors. But this size seems to work well for us. All right, let's get rid of that. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Okay, only have a couple minutes, so let me just. Don't you have to feel of the tomatoes when they get soft, most likely ripe? Oh yeah, yes. Tomatoes are like a party of all the senses, isn't it? You look, with your eyes and nose, your mouth, you're feeling the glossiness of it and the weight, and yeah, it's tantalizing of all the senses. It's all good stuff. All right, let me just show you another couple tomatoes I wanted to show you. I already showed this Jarson 22, which is massive. And these are not just like one tomato on the planter like this. It's like the whole plants are like this. This is Jarson 2. This is, for those of you that remember the Bounty Hunter Seeds episode, this is multicolor. I mean, that is the name of the variety. It's called multicolor. This one probably is ready for tasting tonight. Isn't it gorgeous? I know many of you are growing it too. Has anybody tried it yet? That's gorgeous. Gimme, says Cynthia. I know, right? Yeah, it's a beautiful one. This is Aljanuska, which is another tricolor. I meant to get the slide up of this one, but I think I forgot. Oh, maybe. Hang on. The pictures that I saw made these look much smaller. I guess I don't have it. So And they're all big like this, big tricolors. Haven't tasted yet, but super excited to taste. Oh, do I have the Jarson 12? So I'm growing 2 different Jarson 12s. Jarson 12s are a cross between, I forget the slide, silly me. Jarson 12 is a cross between an old heirloom called Zapotec, which is a ribbed red plum tomato. We grew it a couple of years ago, and Copia, which is just a great big tomato. And I got 2 different versions one from my Jarson Angel, one from, I think maybe Tomato Eden. I was hoping I had it. Anyway, we tasted one the other night. I'll put the review up in the group. It's one of the most gorgeous tomatoes I've seen. Just flat and ribbed. It looks like a flower. Absolutely gorgeous. Flavor-wise was just kind of eh. And then right next to it, this is the other Jarson 12. Same exact cross, but these are growing into pink hearts. So I really wanted to show you the difference between both. It's very dramatic. So that's kind of neat. This is Strange Love by Bill Yoder. For those of you that like your antho, you would like this. It's nice and fruity. But out of the Depeche Modes, Shake the Disease and Suffer Well are definitely my favorites. This is also one we haven't tried yet. Everything Counts in Large Amounts, which is really beautiful. This is an experimental one from Tomato Eden that she just put on this year. She put on a bunch of them. This is called Big Festival Tulip Green. Not ripe yet, but love the shape on this. I love the tulip shapes. Jen posted a picture of a cool tulip one, black tulip or something the other day. This is Big Festival Tulip Green. It's heavier than I thought. I thought it might be like one of those stuffer tomatoes, but it's not. This is ready for tasting too. This is Jarson 7 version 1. Beautiful. You can see this is what I'm talking about, where they're growing in between the fence posts. Thankfully, that one was salvageable. Ooh, this is Earth Angel from Terra Nova Farms. I'm waiting for the perfect moment to taste this. Will turn all butterscotch. Very grateful to have gotten seeds from her for this. And this is, remember I've been talking about prime rib the last couple of weeks. It's a 31-inch plant with these massive tomatoes on it. They're just starting to blush. Here's one of them. You can see the size of the fruits on this very short, stocky plant. And oops. He was down at the bottom. My little banana noir I was going to show you. He got a little squished. Nothing that I can't solve in my mouth. Not just saying this because it's because it's our tomato. That is just so sweet. I love banana noir. All right, I guess that's it. Got to go off to dinner with the fam. So thank you guys for chatting, talking tomatoes with me today. Oh, Cynthia, I'm excited to try Earth Angel. I have a half critter ripe one to save. I have a half critter ripe one to save seeds. Yay. I was able to save sucker plants. So I was able to give Cynthia one and Jen one. So good. Yeah, they're a special one this year. Mary Rivas tasted it and she said it was amazing. Oh, I forgot to do the giveaways. All right. All right. I have to do it really quickly. We've got a reservation. Okay. I'm not going to have time to write it down. So if you win, just please private message me. Sorry about that. Get a little carried away. Cordaro, congratulations. That's one. Oh, am I putting this up here? No, I'm not. Cardara, you won the first one. Let me show it. Sorry about that. Second one is Bay. Congratulations. Number 3. Tara Dove again. Congratulations, Tara Dove. That was 3, right? Yeah, I think so. Danielle B, congratulations. And one more. You Grow Row. Congratulations, everybody. Sorry to cut it short, but we got to run. Thank you for being here for Lawrence Tomato Awesome Sauce. I love you all. I will see you Tuesday for a garden tour and next Thursday for another episode. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on and go grow tomatoes. Bye, gang.